Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Prison Architect. And we're right now in the process of finishing off the first cell block. But before I do that, there are a couple things I'd like to do. For instance, I'd like to get health research so that I can build a medical ward as soon as possible. But let's go ahead and now start equipping the cell block. So the first thing I'm going to do is start putting in all the objects that we need. So I start with the jail doors because with no prisoners, it shouldn't really be a big deal to have the jail doors. I'm also going to need drains in all the cells in case somebody decides to clog their toilet and flood the area or break their toilet or any other creative thing the prisoners can think of. And then we need to actually equip the cells with the appropriate bedding and all of that. We're going to be using normal beds rather than bunk beds like we used in the past. And I kind of like the layout where the guards can see the toilet, so I like to put the toilet in front of the door. I don't know if that really particularly matters for as far as the game's concerned, but it's what I like to do. That way the guards can see if they're doing anything naughty with the toilet. Okay. And then we need the toilet itself. And we're finally going under the 300,000 that we sold our previous prison for. Which I expected. Cell blocks are rather expensive. We'll get some of that money back from the grant completing, but not all of it back, because cell blocks tend to be more expensive. And one thing I could do that I haven't done in the past is I could add in windows in all of the cell blocks that have a outer perimeter. Not something I've really done before. I'm curious because I've never done this before. Do you have to put it on either side? Looks like that's fine. Doesn't make me do it on both sides. And we'll put it in front of the bed. So this is just a little bit of extra something to keep the prisoners a little bit happier. Those that get the outside cells, the one that have the inner cells, well, they just get they get a whole lot of nothing to look at. So, my game plan, once the health gets done, and I might as well do maintenance as well, while I'm at it, and queue up security as well, is I'd like to do a medical ward, morgue, and solitary confinement structure that is next to the cell block, and then probably I'm going to copy and paste another cell block on the other side once we have all that construction done. At least that's the game plan. And we do have an extra grant now, I believe, so we could take that. So let's take a look at what we've got as far as grants. So we've got inmate health and well-being, which is the medical ward that I was talking about, but you do have to hire 2 doctors and a psychologist, which makes that you know, it would be staff that we'd have to hire that don't really do anything at the moment. We have prison maintenance, which this one I might be more inclined to do because we do actually need gardeners and janitors right now. Our prison's getting pretty dirty. Visitation rights we might do. Honestly, any of these would be great. I think I'm going to go with the prison maintenance, though. So we just need to unlock maintenance, unlock cleaning and groundskeeping, and then hire a foreman and hire 2 janitors and a gardener. Hopefully we don't start running out of money then, at that point, because then we're going to have to actually start having prisoner intake, which I'm trying to avoid as long as possible. I want to actually have this prison completed before we get into any of that. And I should have health first. I can go ahead and do the structure for it, or at least start planning it. So, planning for the structure. I don't know exactly how big medical beds are, but if I remember, they're pretty sizable. And I think they're about the size of maybe 2 beds, so they'd be a 4x4, if I remember correctly. So, the best situation we'd want is if we had a medical ward. And I want this medical ward to be fairly big, because we're probably going to have a lot of injuries. So, if I did something like this... Oops. There we go. And then we would want another row of medical beds. And again, this is a guess on how big the medical beds are, but I think this is about how big they are. Alright, so we have a little bit of dead space here, which may or may not be a big deal. So this would be the medical ward initially, and then what I would do is maybe we'd have a door roughly in the middle. We'd have another door here or here. Either way, it doesn't really matter. And then we have another structure. Now, I don't remember how big the morgue slabs are, but I think they're about the size of a normal bed. So they would be something like this. Okay. Now, that might not actually work because it depends on how the access is required. So we may have some dead space that we don't use, but that's a decent allotment. And then we would need the solitary cells. So, and these don't have to be big at all. Mostly all we need is a toilet. As a matter of fact, I can check on that. Solitary. Yeah, so there's no requirement for solitary, so we can make it absolutely tiny. So, going back to planning here. And I can adjust the size of this as I see fit. But let's say this is solitary. And we cut a door here. So ideally, all we need is something this size for solitary. Something like this. And then we'd have... Then we have a bunch of dead space in the middle, which I'm not a big fan of. So we could cut back how big this is by 2. Or I could do the entrance in a different place. So that we could maximize how many that we can get in here. Let's see if we did it the other way. How many we could fit in. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, so we need it to be either one shorter or one longer. So let's say we did this. And then... Yeah, so that's not going to be ideally sized either way I do it. So I think the best move here is to have it just be a little bit shorter. So something like that. Then we've got the cells. Like that. The cells. Like that. So we'd have a total of, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 solitary cells, which we probably will need considering how much violence there might be in this prison. And then I do something like this. So we'd have a large jail door here, large jail door here, then all the solitary rooms. Because if we have another cell block on the other side of this structure, then we could have them come from either side for the solitary confinement. So that's kind of my plan for the now, and it does look like we have the health done, so I might as well start on the foundation here. So we're going to do concrete, and we'll do it like that. Oh, let's get over confirmed before I commit to this too much on the medical bed. So, medical bed is here, and it is 4x4, so I was correct. And then the morgue slab is the same size as a bed. Okay. It looks like that's fine. Let's continue. So we've got... Oh, we need an entrance. So I'll go ahead and put the entrances where I think they're going to be. So... do 2 large jail doors here and here. Well, it's not going to let me do that because of the tree. And then just a jail door here. That way we can lock things down if we need to. All right, looking good. And we're working on maintenance as we speak. I guess we might as well work on psychology because that is part of one of the requirements, and it's not too expensive. All right, now we need utilities. So utilities, just gonna route. Like so. And I could route that way, but I think what I'm gonna do instead is this. I'm kind of realizing that middle, you know what? I'm realizing that this middle section is completely and totally useless. Oh, you know what? No, actually, that's wrong. Let's see if we can... Alright. Well, we'll see how much I mess it up, because I realize we actually do need this piping maybe for the showers. Oh, well. We'll get back to it. I'm not sure if I canceled the bulldoze orders or not. We'll have to see. If I did, it's not the end of the world. I also have to set up the showers, which I haven't done yet. Okay. We'll have to see if they actually cancel any of this. Okay. And we need the shower heads. So my plan was to do one every other. This might be overkill, especially when you consider that there's 24 cells. So let's just hold off here a second. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, maybe I am overkilling it a little bit. Well, actually, when I think about it, we might need... Yeah, okay, we're going to do it this way, because I think we might not have enough shower heads if I do it another way. Because right there, we're at 20, so we're not quite filling the capacity. And I think that's as good as it gets. Alright, I'll have to keep an eye on the utilities and see if they actually do knock anything out. I tried to cancel the bulldozers, but I may have done it incorrectly. Oh, okay, so they removed the tree so I can put in the large jail door here now. Oh, in theory, I can do that. These tree stumps are driving me crazy. Because it doesn't let me install the door while that's in there. Nope. Let's see if we can get rid of it. Nope. Not yet, anyway. Last time we had a tree stump, I had to very precisely click on something to get it to work. Alright, let's take a look at the utilities. Oh, they haven't knocked it out, so that's good. I must have canceled the orders. Okay, let's go to sell, and I go ahead and draw these out now. Okay, so there's the grant done. Okay, so now we need a new grant. I'm going to go ahead and go right into cell block B, which means that we need capacity of 50. And I'll try and get it there. We're going to have another cell block, but we're going to be maybe one short with that cell block. Alternatively, I could do the staff... I'm not the... staff well-being. Or actually the health and well-being. You know what? I'm going to take the cell block B. And we can always take another one of these later. Okay, so far so good. And with a small workforce like this, we're going to have kind of slow going. Okay, maintenance is almost done. Matter of fact, I think I get a ticker here that lets me know about it. And once that's done, we're going to want to start working on the cleaning and groundskeeping and all that. So first things first, let's do cleaning. I'm going to go ahead and set this up as a cleaning room as soon as, or cleaning cupboard as soon as we get that unlocked. Oh, I need a foreman. I forgot. Okay, so we haven't installed the objects for an office yet, so let's get to that. So we need an office desk. Here, we need a chair. Here, and we need a filing cabinet. Here. And I guess I might as well do the other offices so I don't forget for later. So we need office desk. And a chair. Okay. And we might as well set them up as offices again, so I don't forget if... There we go. Okay. Now we need a foreman. I do have to keep an eye on my my income here. So far, it seems like it keeps going up even though we don't really have any prisoner intake. So I'm not really sure what dictates money in, money out. Right now, we're still making a profit, so I'm not too worried about it. Could be because we keep having exports that's kind of inflated, so we'll have to see. Alright, so now we need more utilities in the shower room to make that one legal. Another thing I probably should think about is a sprinkler system. These are going to be maybe more violent prisoners, and they may set fire to things, which could be very hazardous, obviously. As a matter of fact, I do not have anything in the kitchen, which would be bad if we had a fire, so... that's not under utilities. I believe that's under objects. It is. So how should I place these? I want them to be roughly in the middle, but I think we have an even number, so it's not going to be perfect. So I'll put one. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put one here. And one here. And then we'll see about utilities once they're installed. And I also want sprinklers in a lot of the main rooms in case we have fires, because fires are obviously very bad. Probably going to need one in every cell. And we're already going to have utilities piping through, so we'll put it like right in front of the toilet. Now, the reason I'm doing it in every cell is because I'm worried that the drain would cause, if I didn't, would cause the water to not get where the fire is. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the cells themselves. I don't know if prisoners can tamper with them and mess with them. That might be something they can do, but... Alright. And that should take care of the problem. I could put sprinklers out in the hall, but I'm more likely going to see fires in the actual cells. So I think that's a strategy I'm going to take. And then for in here, I guess what I'll do is I'll put them like so. Kind of the different corners here, and then maybe we'll put... How does our utility go through here? Okay, so in the lower portion of the middle of the room. Alright, well that's easy to account for. So we'll put one here. Alright, so I'm going to need to do utilities and stuff eventually. Oh, and this needs... Okay, they did take care of the stump, which is good. Let's get our large jail door here. And then let's draw out the different walls. Okay, got something there, and there. And then we need solitary doors. These are going to be really, really tiny rooms. And then we need the toilets to make the whole thing legal. Actually, I don't even know if you really need the toilets for the solitary, but I'm just going to do it so they don't crap themselves. And okay. Might want to do the sprinkler system in this area too, just to be on the safe side, but grab some power. And I guess I'll do it like... this. For here. I don't know if I like the idea of running power cables through where prisoners may be. Again, I don't know if it's anything they can do, but with that, but we're just going to be on the safe side here. And then we need utilities outside of that, so we're going to need water. Actually, now that I think about it. And again, I don't want this running through an area that a prisoner can get to, so I'm going to go like that, and then I'm going to go this way. And then through here, like so. And as I said, we're probably going to put a cell block on this side, so we're going to have to route power, water and power over here eventually anyway. We're just going to do this. And we'll put a sprinkler system in every solitary cell. How they got a lighter into their solitary cell, I wouldn't know, but we're going to do it anyway. Prisoners should be searched when they are taken into solitary. We'll have precautions met here. As a matter of fact, I probably want to drain in case they try and stop up the toilet and cause me issues that way. Because, you know, if they're in solitary, they're naughty prisoners to begin with. And we'll go ahead and put a sprinkler in there so they don't burn themselves to death. Because prisoners sometimes like to do things like that. Okay. Now for the utilities for over here. That's easy enough. And the other sprinkler must not have been installed yet. And then over here, we'll just do that. 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 And I'm hoping that this sprinkler system will take care of the area pretty well. Okay. So far, so good. And let's take a look at... We've got cleaning. Let's get groundskeeping working on that. And I might as well work on prison policy and micromanagement when it comes to that. Okay, so now we need at least 2 janitors and hire a gardener. Well, first things first, I'd like a cleaning cupboard. We're going to put it in here. And then 3 by 3, so that should be accurate. And then we're going to need staff. It was at least, what? How many was it? At least 2 janitors and hire a gardener. Okay, so gardener, we just want 1. Oh, we don't have that yet, but we do have the janitors, so... Ah, there you are. 1, 2. Now we'll start working on cleaning the prison, which is, at this point, pretty darn filthy. There's muddy footprints all over the place. And when we have the groundskeeping done, we'll be able to do that. Okay, grant-wise, how are we doing? We've still got 12 hours before the short-term investment is done. And then cell block B, we need to have a prisoner capacity of 50. Well, the first thing I want to do is copy this cell block. So, I believe there is a copying tool. I have never used it. But, let's see, clone. I'm going to assume this is it. I may not be able to do the entire cell block, though. Matter of fact, I'm not sure how you use this at all. I could build it by hand, but I prefer to use the clone tool. If at all possible. Ah, okay. You have to right-click, not left-click. It doesn't look like the area is particularly big. So I don't know how useful this is actually going to be. Probably not very. Okay. Alright, so let's start over here. Broader area. See, it doesn't even let me do the whole thing. So you know what? This is going to be totally useless. So I'm going to end up having to build this by hand, because I think just copying a little bit of it isn't really going to get me very far. I wish you could copy more than this. Alright, well, never mind of that. We're just going to have to use planning to copy this. So, we need 25 by 26. Okay, that's easy enough. So, 25 by 26. Okay. Then we just draw the cell area, which will be here. And once you get a basic blueprint, I think it's fairly easy to build off of it. So we've got... Okay, so we're going to want... Probably the easiest thing for me is just if I draw it one at a time so I don't overdo anything. There. Then we can just do that. Okay, so we're getting there. Oops. There we go. So that's drawn out. Now we can draw out the rest of the cells. Alright, and then over here. Okay. Oh, I forgot the pathway down the middle. I was like, this doesn't look right. That's a little bit better. And then we need the shower area, which is like that. And then we, oops. We just need to cut out the door areas. And we have ourselves another cell block. Now, the main reason I wanted to use the copy tool is because it would do a lot of the work of bringing all the furniture over and all that. But I couldn't copy enough to actually make that work, in my opinion, so... Okay. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and do the foundation. And then we need our doors. Oops. That time I was aware of being off-center. We'll wait until the large jail door comes back. There it is. Okay. Now we need to actually set up the medical area. So, infirmary. And then medical beds. Here. There we go. I may even put another bed in the middle, but I think that's fine for now. And then we need the morgue slabs. I was curious. Does it allow me to place them there? Okay, and it looks like that's the right orientation. Okay. And we need a room. We need a morgue. Morgue. There we go. Okay. Since we have the objects in the room, that should be done. So solitary and infirmary and morgue are taken care of. We've got our cleaning cupboard. Do we have our gardener yet? No, not quite. And while I'm at it, I think I'm going to fill out the rest of the capacitors here, just so that we don't have to worry about it anymore. I might need another power generator, and I think what I'm going to do for this northern expanse up here, I'm probably going to do another power generator and have the northern area entirely off that power grid. So this southern area and the central area that we have right now will work off of this power grid, but any areas to the north of the canteen will be on a different power grid. At least that's the plan. And we have a lot of space over here. We can do a bunch of things. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the staff room now. So I think this is a decent space here for the staff room that we can use. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take some foundation here, and I'm going to build it out to be a couple away from the fence. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a staff door and place it there. And in theory, they shouldn't knock down this wall. If they do, we'll deal with it. Okay, so this is done. So now we need to get the walls built. Actually, I think this is a good point to put a cut in the video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.